Hello all you beautiful peoples. Just setting the timer. Okay, so I've done some beauty stuff and I think it's time for getting back into training and dieting stuff again. So the first thing I want to discuss with you guys is basically our body types. That doesn't sound right, these body types. Anyway, so we're going to look at, okay, we basically what we did with the past series of training and dieting we did was fat loss and overweight and stuff like that. So we also get, I actually had a subby that wrote me, and she is one of those people, and this is where this video is coming in. She is what you call a ectomorph. This video isn't right. Okay, I think I'm too low. I have my hair extensions in today. That's why my hair is not curly. Okay, so what we discussed, basically what we dealt with was something that was called ectomorphs, okay? So you get three body types. Okay, how am I going to start this video? I haven't done this in so long. Okay. There's different types of body types. There's different scales of doing body types. The first one is like when you take women or men and you go, okay, this one's pear-shaped, apple-shaped, triangular, whatever the shapes is. We're done with those. We're moving into a different thing. The three body types we're going to discuss is going to be able to explain to you guys why certain people are fat, why certain people are skinny fat, and why you get those moronic freaks of nature that just always looks good. Okay, so the three basic types are ectomorphs, endomorphs, and mesomorphs, okay? We're going to talk about their eating habits, and I'm also going to tell you guys something that Johan and I have been studying lately, a lot. We've been dealing with twins, actually identical twins, okay? And we've been thinking about the fact that why is it that in most cases you get twins, that's identical twins, and this is going to come into genetics. There's something else besides genetics that are causing people to be fat and causing people to be thin and causing people to be skinny fat. Okay, so we're trying to figure out what is it that, why is it that you get twins and the one twin, identical twins. I mean, if they're identical, except for their thumbprints and everything else, it's different. If they have identical genes, okay, why is it in 90% of cases where you get one of the twins being fat and the other one skinny? We have a couple of examples and a really funny thing that happened, and this is going to obviously not be one video because there's just way too many things to discuss, because I also have to deal with the questions that this ectomorphic subby of mine had questions about. Okay, so a couple of things where I'm going to rant and give you some examples, and then we'll go from there, and I'll just divide all the videos up. So basically, the next 1 or 2 or 3 videos is going to be about body types and what the differences are and why it is like that. Okay, so there's twins, what do you call them? Twins. There's a twin pair of, well, actually there's two pairs. There's a pair of twins in Johan's gym. Identical twins. The one is a mesomorph and the one is a ectomorph. No, sorry. The one's a mesomorph and the one is the endomorph. Oh, actually, I guess what I should do is tell you the types so that you can figure out. I've got a printed paper here instead of me trying to explain, because you know how sidetracked I get. I'm just going to read to you the basic facts and samples of people that fall into the category, okay? Okay, so then you can kind of decide where are you in this category, and then you'll know how to deal with getting fat or getting thin or whatever. Okay, so are you a ectomorph, mesomorph, or endomorph? Some people, like supermodel Kate Moss, are born to be thin. These delicately built individuals are ectomorphs, okay? Others are destined to be muscular and athletic, like actors Arnold Schwarzenegger and Tom Cruise. They are mesomorphs. Those are the freaks of nature that we all hate, but the good thing about that is if there's actually ever a famine in the land, those are the ones that will die first, will survive, the fat ones, okay? Then there are endomorphs, people like talk show hosts Oprah Winfrey and Rosie O'Donnell. So that kind of gives you the idea. Ectomorphs are basically people who have more tendencies towards fat. Then you get the ectomorphs, which are people who have more tendencies that looks like bean poles. They're tall, they're tiny, they thin like rakes, and you know, for women that's maybe nice. The thing is that also comes into play is age, right? These body types can change basically, obviously, as you get older and your hormones change and everything else. Because I can tell you, Kate Moss might be as skinny and whatever, but she's not going to stay like that. She might be skinny and thin as a rake, but she's going to be stuck with a pouch and all of the other wonderful things anyway if she doesn't train and eat right? Okay? Okay, so where does this ectomorph, endomorph, and mesomorph thing come from? Okay, those three broad categories of body types or soma types were created in the early 1940s, not by a physician or exercise specialist, but by an American psychologist. His name was William H. Sheldon. Okay, he developed his soma type theory after studying 4,000 photographs of college-aged men. His primary research interest was drawing connections between body type and temperament. He theorized that ectomorphic people tend to be quiet and reflective, mesomorphs brim with energy and vigor, and endomorphic people are magnanimous and love to eat. While those connections play a relatively minor role in modern psychology, Sheldon's body types have endured to influence, in part at least, how many people exercise, bodybuild, and manage their weight. Okay, how are these body types used? So I've got 600 pages here. Within these three ranges, you also obviously get ectomorphs, which is you can be an ectomesomorph, you can be a meso-endomorph, you can be a combination of the two. But basically, okay, we've been looking at eating patterns, fat people versus skinny people versus all of those things, right? So getting back to the twins again. There's this pair of twins in Johan's gym that I told you guys about. Okay, the one is, they both look identical. Their faces, everything is identical. The one is lean and ripped to shreds, has no tan whatsoever, has got a six-pack that's friggin' standing out there without him doing anything. And then, well, he's training obviously. And then the other one looks like him, and he's a little bit more bulky and a little bit more muscular, but you can see he has tendencies to go towards the fat side. So the one, which is basically the mesomorph ecto. So he's kind of tall and skinny, but he's muscular. So he has like a middle tendency there. He's like the Tom Cruise type. He can obviously eat whatever the heck he wants and he still keeps a six-pack. The other one can, I think, if you take him and you train him, he'll most probably be able to put on more muscle than the ectomorph, but he also has a tendency towards fat. So he's going to have to diet all his life, and the other one's going to be eating pizza and whatnot and be happy like crazy, right? Okay, those are the ones we all hate. So where does this start, and how does genes come into play with all of this? We were at a mall, and I observed the strangest thing I've ever seen in my life. We went to the Watertown Mall, and I was sitting there waiting for Renata. Came out of one store, and Johan and Reinhard was in a different store, so I was waiting for them. There was a grandmother who was sitting there feeding these two babies, identical twins. They were maybe, oh gosh, a year old, maybe a year old or something like that. And she had two bowls, you know, they were in one of those stroller things, and she had two plates in front of her with cereal in it, right? Now, the two babies were identical twins. The one was this skinny little kid, like he was just bouncing and playing and whatever, and the other one was, that was next to him was chubby. I mean, he had those big chipmunk cheeks and whatever, right? So she's sitting there with her two hands, poor grandmother, while the mom was shopping, and she's feeding the one a spoon of porridge, and then she's feeding the other one a spoon of porridge. The reaction of the two was what tickled me pink, people. These is one-year-old kids with genetics now playing a role, personalities not even quite there yet. I mean, it's not like they're stress eaters or anything like that, okay? So the skinny one of the babies, he would sit there, they didn't have shoes on, he would sit there, the mother would feed him a bite of, or the grandmother would feed him a bite of porridge. He would open his mouth very lazily, take a bite of the porridge, and then look around at everything, and he grabbed his 2 feet, and he was playing with his toes, okay? Meanwhile, the other one was, the grandmother was feeding him the exact same porridge, exact same bowl, exact same everything, and he was chomping down that food like he's never seen food in his life ever before. She put the porridge in his mouth, he swallowed, and his mouth was open again. The other one was looking this way and that way, not as interested in the food as the chubby one. With the chubby one, just kept it like, it looked like he didn't even taste the food. She would put it in, he would swallow, and his mouth would be open even before she got back to the plate. So for every 3 bites the chubby one took, the smaller one took 1 bite and looked extremely bored with her meal. So there is where it starts. My time is up. I'm going to go on to explain it a little bit more. And guys, I need the men here involved in this discussion as well. We'll get back to video number 2. See you there. Bye-bye, guys.